children responsible for the assault have been arrested. The incident occurred as the pregnant woman was walking home. After a group of minors knocked her down, they took turns jumping over her as if playing a vaulting horse game. Her young son rushed into the crowd, shielding his mother's abdomen with his frail body. Despite his tears, a cell phone camera captured this heart-wrenching scene, while the children laughed and completed each shove.
Breaking news, and trust me, this one is hotter than Chicago's summer asphalt. Just 1 minute ago, the internet practically caught fire as the infamous Chicago Kids drama took a turn. Nobody, not even the meme pages, saw coming. Yes, you heard that right. The same kids who turned the city into a live-action scandal series have officially pushed things so far off the rails that even their parents couldn't escape the fallout. And guess what? Those parents? Yeah, they just got arrested. No exaggeration. No clickbait. This is the kind of plot twist that makes Netflix writers question their careers. I mean, honestly, how does a situation spiral so fast that the parents end up in handcuffs before lunchtime? What exactly went down behind the scenes? What leaks, screenshots, and whispered rumors triggered this level of chaos?
So apparently the mother has been telling the school this entire time that her son was getting bullied, and the school didn't do anything about it. And this is why you got the community out there protesting, because these schools refuse to do anything when these parents come up to these schools and tell them that their child is being bullied. I don't know what goes on in their minds, and they just be like, oh, you know, kids are going to be kids. Y'all have to stop doing that, because we see too many situations where kids are being bullied. The parents come up and they tell y'all about it, and for some reason y'all don't do nothing about it. It's really frustrating.
And most importantly, why does Chicago keep producing headlines that feel like season finales? Whatever you think happened, trust me, this story is 10 levels deeper, messier, and wilder. Anonymous sources are already talking. The community is in shock, and the drama. Oh, the drama is premium quality, 5-star chef key scandal energy. So sit tight, because what's coming next is nothing less than explosive. The situation began spiraling the moment whispers about the so-called Chicago Kids started swirling across social feeds faster than anyone could refresh their timelines, and the entire city seemed to collectively gasp as rumors hinted that the drama was not just big but colossal, and people kept asking how a group of kids who were supposed to be regular neighborhood troublemakers somehow ended up at the center of one of the wildest scandals the city had seen in years, and every hour brought a new twist that made the previous one look like child's play, because what started as a simple story about mischief slowly grew claws and fangs and turned into a full-blown chaos saga that had parents pacing living rooms and reporters camping outside police stations and everyone else glued to their screens, trying to figure out what in the world went wrong this time. And the deeper you look, the stranger the entire storyline becomes, because apparently these kids were not just out causing trouble, they were wrapped in an entire trail of suspicious incidents that now look painfully obvious with hindsight, and people recalling how these same kids were once caught staging a fake treasure hunt that shut down an entire block for 3 hours, and how they once convinced half the neighborhood that a celebrity was secretly living in an abandoned duplex, and how their pranks always seemed to escalate from goofy to borderline catastrophic without anyone fully understanding how they managed to pull it off every time. And now, with the parents suddenly thrust into the spotlight,
Come on, blood! Shamar looking at! Shamar! Come here! What you want, Shamar? Shamar, what you want, Shamar? Shamar looking at!
the city is buzzing louder than a late-night train, because the authorities moved quickly and quietly, and the silence only made the public more restless, as everyone waited for an official explanation, while anonymous so-called insiders claimed that this was only the surface of something much bigger, and that the kids had been acting suspicious for months, even showing up with gadgets and expensive toys no one could figure out the origin of. And people started asking whether the parents were really unaware of what was happening, or whether they were somehow tangled in the chaos the whole time. And the more people dig, the more bizarre it gets, because neighbors swear they notice strange visitors coming at odd hours.
We got it. What you got? Continue to cover up. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
I just met with the parents and those children. And I think before we do a lot of talking, we need to listen. We need to listen to those children. What I just heard are two little, beautiful black children that are traumatized. They've been bullied. They've been tortured. And I just spoke without giving up full details. What I just told the principal and CPS, that we're not about to let a bunch of rules get in the way of protecting our children.
That's right, that's right.
No mother should ever have to go through what that woman went through. Helpless, couldn't protect our children. As somebody who writes laws in this state, we have written every law on the book to make sure children don't get abused. But we damn so not about to let our children abuse us.
That's right,
Every child that participated in this, their lives don't need to end, but they damn so about to be held accountable.
That's all we want. That's all we want. Accountability. Accountability. That's all we want. That's all we want. And the school needs to be held accountable too. The school needs to be held accountable as well.
Listen, we as a community have to decide something right now. We have to decide if we're going to allow our children to be bullied, tortured, and tormented. The answer, are we going to do that?
No!
We need to decide, are we going to let CPS policies continue to fail our children? Are we going to let CPS and the city of Chicago put all their attention on ICE and not on this community? We want to make sure that these things that are happening every day in our community get addressed right now. To every little kid who has a parent who allowed this to happen. I'm not saying that the parents need to go to jail. I'm not. What I'm saying is,
They need to be held accountable.
What I'm saying is, if you don't hold your kids accountable, we will.
Yeah.
That was not that we wanted, sir. No bullying, goddammit. Whoop they ass! 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 Whoop they ass!
Speaking in hushed tones and dropping off mysterious packages that looked nothing like Amazon deliveries. And the kids were often seen sneaking around with an odd confidence. That did not match their age, as if they knew something the rest of the world did not, and all of this has now fused together into a wild tornado of speculation that refuses to slow down, and with authorities keeping tight control over every detail. The city is left with only fragments of truth mixed with speculation, and the puzzle pieces are messy, jagged, and incomplete, leaving everyone wondering what exactly was being hidden inside that seemingly ordinary house that now feels like the epicenter of something far more explosive. People kept waiting for the chaos to settle, but instead the situation thickened like a storm.
And to the mother down there in Chicago, who daughters apologize? No, you don't get to tell us how to treat your daughter, because I watched that clip. You understand me? I watched that clip. She was not a child the way she was cussing, baby. She done heard some things and seen some things, young lady. You did a terrible job. You did a terrible job.
Cloud ready to burst, because just when the public thought they had wrapped their heads around the shocking involvement of the parents, new details started swirling from so-called leaked reports that painted an even stranger picture, and it was the kind of information that made people lean closer to their screens, whispering, what in the world is happening in Chicago? because apparently investigators were already tracking unusual financial movements linked to the family long before the arrest, which raised even bigger questions about how deep this strange activity went and why no one noticed that the parents' lifestyle quietly shifted from ordinary to suspiciously comfortable with neighbors. Recalling how the family suddenly upgraded their old beat-up car to a shiny new.
I was wrong for
It's okay, come on.
for everything that I did. And I was just being a follower, following everybody who don't even got nothing that I got.
SUV and hosted backyard gatherings with food that looked way too fancy for people who claimed to be struggling to pay their utility bills, and the whispers only grew louder once an anonymous source claiming to be a junior investigator said that files contained references to money trails leading to unregistered accounts, along with a strange pattern of transactions that did not match any normal explanation, and people began to argue whether the parents were masterminds behind the kids' behavior or whether the kids were actually the brains of the entire operation. But the most shocking detail came from a leaked voice note circulating online where a person sounding remarkably like a neighbor insisted that they once overheard a late-night argument in which one of the parents warned someone on the phone that the kids had messed up something big and that things were getting out of control. And while the authenticity of the voice note remains unconfirmed, the public ate it up like a new episode of their favorite crime thriller, and everything spiraled from that point because every news outlet jumped onto the story, adding their own spin, while online detectives broke down every frame of every photo ever taken of the family, highlighting minor things that suddenly felt suspicious, like the time the kids walked around carrying a locked metal box during a community event and no one knew what was inside, or the time the parents claimed their garage door was jammed but someone swore they saw suspicious equipment inside. And all these tiny fragments merged into a mess of theories that felt too wild to believe, yet too intriguing to ignore. And while officials refused to comment on the speculations, they confirmed that more questioning was underway, which only ignited the curiosity even further as people wondered if the story was about to explode into something even bigger. Because Chicago had seen scandals before, but nothing that involved kids operating like miniature masterminds with parents who pretended to be clueless while living a life that did not match their income. And the entire city now watches anxiously, wanting to know whether this bizarre saga is nearing its final chapter or whether the real revelation has not even begun yet. So now that you've heard all the twists, the leaks, the mysterious transactions, and the jaw-dropping behavior of both the kids and their parents, the real question becomes what happens next, because this story is far from over. And the city is demanding answers as everyone watches, waiting to see whether justice will actually catch up or whether it will slip through the cracks like it has in so many scandals before. And the authorities are under pressure while the public debates endlessly about what consequences are appropriate and whether the kids should face serious legal action or if the parents should be held financially and legally accountable for everything that happened under their watch. And maybe, even more importantly, whether the school or any administrators will face repercussions for letting warning signs go ignored while the community rallies together, organizing meetings, fundraisers, and protests, trying to make sure that this family's nightmare is not repeated. And while all this unfolds, one thing is clear: nobody should ignore the warning signs, nobody should look away, and everybody has to ask themselves what they would do if this was happening next door. And the only way to stay on top of all the updates and see every shocking new revelation is to make sure you are following along. So like this video, comment below with your thoughts and theories, share it with friends and family. We'll need to see what chaos really looks like, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single twist. of this ongoing scandal because trust me, the story is only going to get wilder from here, and every click, every comment, every share keeps. The pressure on the right people to take action and make sure that accountability actually happens.